This video is going to be about polynomial long division. If you have your textbook at home, you can follow along on page 120. I'm taking this example from the first part of page 120. Polynomial long division follows the same process for regular numerical long division. So let me just do an example of that. Say we want to divide, how about 526 by 5. So I would write this in long division looking like this. 5 goes into 526. And then I ask myself, how many times does 5 go into 5? I use that first digit there on the left. 5 goes into 5 one time. So I write down my 1. And then I multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. And then you probably remember the next step is to subtract. So 5 take away 5 is 0. And the last step is to bring down the next digit in line, which is a 2. So my steps are to divide, to multiply, to subtract, and then bring down. Bring down. All right, then we repeat the process. So 5, does 5 go into 2? Well, it doesn't. It's not big enough, so I'm going to bring down the next digit, bring down the 6, and ask myself, does 5 go into 26? And indeed it does. It goes in 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 1. 5 times, 25. There we go. 25. And then subtract. And there's the 1. And I can add decimals and all that sort of thing and zeros, but I'm not going to add decimals and zeros. What I'm going to do with whatever I'm left over with, so this 1 down here, that's called your remainder. That's my remainder. I'm going to write my remainder as a fraction. So my answer is going to be 15 with a remainder of 1/5. And that fraction comes from the thing I'm dividing by, the divisor. So that goes in the bottom of my fraction, and my remainder. My remainder goes up here into the numerator, the top of my fraction. Okay, that process, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then keep going until you get a remainder, and then write the remainder as a fraction, is a process that we're going to use for polynomials. So let's try that with this example on page 120. First, I'm going to rewrite it. So the second polynomial, that's my divisor. That's what I'm dividing by. And that's going to go on the outside of my problem, outside the box. All right, so this is going outside over here. And the thing I'm dividing into, that's called your dividend. Sounds like something with banking. That's going to go inside the box. It's going to go right in here. 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6. And then I'm set up and ready to go. All right, let me give myself a little bit more space here. I'm going to rewrite this problem so I have some space. You won't need to rewrite it. I don't want to erase my arrows, so we can go back later and see where things have come from. So 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6. All right, let's take a look at my little checklist here. I need to start by dividing. Well, that looks a little weird, right? Before, when I was dividing, I just had one thing to divide into, the 5, right? I was just dividing a 5. I could handle that, but now I got this big mess, this x squared, this minus 3x, this plus 5. So we're going to make it a little simpler. We're just going to divide whatever that first term is. We're going to use that as our divisor. And we're not going to divide it into all of this stuff. We're just going to look at the first term, the 3x to the 4th. And ask ourselves, okay, how many times does x squared go into 3x to the 4th? Well, it goes in 3x squared times. And I'm going to write that 3x squared times over where this x squared ought to be. Ooh, there's no x squared there. Let's scooch this over a little bit. Put my 4x over here on this side. Look at that. I've got all these other exponents. I've got a 4, a 3, I've got a 1, I've got a none, but I'm missing my 0. Let's put a filler term in here. How about plus 0x squared? So I haven't changed the value of anything, right? I'm just adding 0 to this polynomial. But now I've got a home for my 3x squared to live above. 3x squared. All right. Okay, I've done the dividing. Now I need to do the next step, and the next step says to multiply. All right, I can handle that. So 3x squared times x squared is 3x to the 4th. I have to now multiply the rest of the polynomial by 3x squared, though. So 3x squared times a negative 3x is a negative 9x cubed. Negative 9x cubed. And notice how I'm lining up the like terms here. So the x to the 4ths are going under the x to the 4ths. The x to the 3rds are going to the x to the 3rds. Let's see, the next one, 3x squared times 5 is 15x squared. And I'm going to put that under my placeholder, my 0x squared, plus 15x squared. All right, so I have my multiplying step done. Next step is to subtract. All right, subtracting now. Subtracting. I'm going to subtract this whole line here. So 3x to the 4th, take away 3x to the 4th, that's just 0x to the 4th. I can just cross those off. They're gone. Gone, gone. Negative 5x cubed minus a negative 9x cubed, that's plus 9x cubed. So negative 5 plus 9 is positive 4, 4x cubed. 0 minus a positive 15x squared. So that's just 0 minus 15x squared is negative 15x squared. All right, I've subtracted all of those terms. Last step says to bring down. So I'm going to bring down my next term, and my next term is this 4x. So that's going to come right down here. So positive 4x, I'm writing plus 4x. All right, now I repeat. Repeat the process. Go back up to the beginning again. Divide again. All right, I'm still going to divide just that box, that first term, x squared. This time I'm dividing it into 4x cubed. So I'm dividing it here into the 4x cubed. X squared goes into 4x cubed 4x times. So plus 4x. There's the divide. Now I'm going to multiply. All right, 4x times x squared. Let me get rid of some of these other arrows here. 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x cubed. 4x times a negative 3x is negative 12x squared. And 4x times 5 is 20x plus 20x. All right. There's the subtracting, or no, sorry, that's the multiplying step. Now we're going to do the subtracting step. So I'm going to subtract this entire line here. Subtract it all. All right, 4x cubed minus 4x cubed, that's just 0. That will go away. Got to watch our negative here, though. Negative 15x minus a negative 12x. That's 15 plus 12. So negative 15 plus 12 is going to be a negative 3x squared. The 20, did I miss an x? Oh, I did miss an x. 4x times 5 is 20x. Right, I can't combine things unless they have like terms, so I'm glad I caught that. 4 minus 20x is going to be negative 15x. Negative 15x. So that's the subtracting part, and then the last step is to bring down. So I'm going to bring down the minus 6. And then we're going to repeat. All right. Once again, I'm just going to use what's in the box, that x squared, just that first term, and I'm going to divide it into the first term down here at the bottom. So x squared goes into negative 3x squared, just negative 3 times. So minus 3. There's the divide. Next is multiply. So negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 3x is positive 9x. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. So there's the multiply step. Now we are going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract this bottom. Negative 3 minus a negative 3 is negative 3 plus 3. The x squared terms go away. Negative 15 minus a positive 9 is negative 15 minus 9. That would be a negative 24x. Negative 6 minus a negative 15 is negative 6 plus 15. That would be a positive 9. And then I would repeat the process if there was anything left to bring down, but there's nothing to bring down. We brought down the last term, that negative 6, in the last round. So I think we're done. All that's left to do now is to write the answer. So here is the answer. The first part is 3x squared plus 4x minus 3. And then, remember, we're going to write the remainder as the numerator in a fraction. So plus, nope, it's going to be minus. Look, that's a negative 24. Minus 24x plus 9 all over. Actually, no, let's make it a plus. Then we'll make the negative 24 minus, otherwise we'll have to change the sign of the 9. So plus negative 24x plus 9, sorry for that, over, and the numerator is the remainder and the denominator is the divisor, what you're originally dividing by, x squared minus 3x plus 5. And there's the answer. All right, I'm going to upload this and then do a couple of problems that are from homework. So if you want to try a couple of the odd ones on your own and then check answers, that's fine. If you want to just watch the next video and then try some on your own, that would be fine too. See you in the next video.